Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Now That's Love. And today we're diving into something that might hit close to home for a lot of us.
Yep, this episode is all about why sometimes we accept less than what we truly deserve. And that's the best, whether it's in relationships, friendships, or even how we treat ourselves. We're not talking about just the obvious stuff either, which, love yourself, make sure everyone respects you. We're getting into the depth of it. This is about the quiet compromises that we make in those relationships. The things we tell ourselves to justify staying in spaces that honestly just don't honor our worth.
Right. So we'll be unpacking some deep stuff today, like where this belief of unworthiness even comes from, how to spot when we're settling, even if we think we're not, right?
Mhm.
And the sneaky ways we make excuses to try to fix people or override our own intuition.
Yes. And we're not just leaving you hanging. On the next episode as well, we'll also talk about how to reclaim your standard, how to recognize what alignment really feels like, and how to start shifting from self-abandonment to radical self-love.
Yeah, so if you've ever found yourself saying, maybe this is all I can get, or this is all that really is out there for me,
Mhm.
maybe I'm asking for too much. You feel like you're picky and people are telling you that. This episode is for you. And it's a reminder that the very best isn't too much. It's just the bare minimum for someone who truly sees your value. And there
Mhm.
are so many wonderful people out there. Remember
Yes.
this. If there's a you, there's a him, or if there's a
Ooh,
her, there's a he,
I
likewise.
love that. Yes. She, he.
She, he.
So let's get into it.
Your favorite mother-daughter duo is back with a whole new season of Now That's Love.
Hello, loves. I'm Janae LaFleur, a certified holistic health specialist, trauma healing, and intuitive spiritual coach, and so much more. With a degree in science and expertise in brain health, fitness, and wellness, I'm passionate about helping myself and others heal, grow, and thrive.
And I'm Ashlyn LaFleur, wife, proud mom of two, and an educator with a master's in teaching and learning. I specialize in online teaching, a creative and course design, and a published researcher, all while sharing my journey of self-love and growth.
This season, y'all, we're diving even deeper into helping you learn more about yourself, loving yourself unapologetically, and grow into the best version of you.
Our mission is to inspire and empower you each week with real conversations, practical tools, and heartfelt encouragement, all rooted in the belief in the greatest love story of all time isn't just found in a fairy tale. It's the one you create with yourself every single day.
So settle in and let's dive into the beautiful journey of self-love, growth, and transformation together.
This is
Now that's love.
I'm ready for it. So, welcome to Now That's Love, everybody. We're just going to go into it. A quick overview of today. We're digging into a truth that might sting just a little bit. The little honest truth that we're, like we mentioned previously, we are going to be that backbone to tell you the honest truth and let you get that kicked into the gear. But in the best way, obviously. Why do sometimes we accept less than what we deserve? And how can we recognize when we're doing just that?
Yeah, so we're going to explore the roots, the childhood messages, unworthiness, conditional love, and caretaking roles.
Yeah, where does
So,
this stem from?
yeah,
And around 70% of adults report that this sense of self-worth was heavily shaped by childhood experience of conditional love and approval.
yeah. So when you did something bad, their love was taken away. You were put as a bad person, maybe told that you were stupid, all the different things
Mhm.
that were programmed in us, or maybe even abandoned. Maybe you were put off into a room and shut and locked in, or, I mean, there's some crazy stories out there. And there's also just the our parents were doing the best that they knew how to do. That's just straight. They could have been totally, absolutely terrible parents, but they still were doing the best they knew how to do
Yeah.
for where they were at. And a lot of people chose to evolve and become better parents than their parents. That would be great if that was your experience. But a lot of this unworthiness stems from how we were treated as children. It's just a fact. So we can look back and say, well, my dad treated me this way. My mom treated me this way. Maybe it was a little bit of abandonment. Maybe it was literally verbal, emotional abuse, different things. And so when we become adults, it's programmed in our brain. So it feels familiar. We know it's still wrong. It gives us the anxious feeling. It makes us feel off. It makes us feel less than. But there's some sort of dang familiarity there that makes us feel like maybe it's truthful, maybe it's right.
And on top of that too, I've heard a lot of times that things that we lacked in our childhood and those relationships, especially with like our friends or mainly our family that we're around a lot more, that's what we strive for in our relationships now. So if your parents abandoned you, maybe you're very anxiously attached because you're so scared to be abandoned. Or maybe you didn't get a lot of praise when you were younger, or you didn't really get recognized, or maybe, like you said, verbally abused. So now you want those great words of affirmation in your relationship now, or you need that constant reassurance of like, you're amazing, you're great, I love you.
Yeah.
And that confirmation that they're not gonna sway either way.
Right. And as women, a lot of times we're put in this role, well, and men too, that you're expected to be strong. You're expected to maybe make sacrifices. How many of us can literally think of our grandmas serving the food around the table and then sitting down, right? Everybody got served first and then mama ate. And the generational, like, I feel like I did the same thing that my mama did, but Ashlyn's breaking it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashlyn, for breaking it.
No guilt behind certain things. Like whenever my husband comes home, it's not like the house is dirty. And sometimes, I try to do my best to keep things clean, but I mean, sometimes it just is one of those days. And he comes home and he's just like, I get it.
Yeah.
It can be crazy having 2 kids and you clean up something and then something gets knocked over and you're like, I just cleaned that.
Well, they're tired days that you've got to just listen to your body and you need to rest. So you're not going to be up on top of all that.
Also, like, being nice, especially I think as women we're taught to be nice, sit pretty.
Yeah, don't get angry because otherwise you're a BIT.
Yeah, exactly. And as a teacher, in my degree, whenever I was going through these certain classes, the main thing that they said was to be flexible. Especially in your first years, be flexible and agree to certain things so you can get in there. And it's just, sometimes I felt like they were pushing those boundaries with how much you can be flexible. And it's like, well, you signed up for this, but at the same time, I didn't sign up for my job to constantly restrain my normal life. Right. And I think my husband and I were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, that's probably why a lot more women go into teaching than men at times, because women were kind of used to it, just keep getting pushed and pushed. Oh yeah, I'll accept that. Oh yeah, I'll accept that. Yeah. And then you start getting very resentful.
I'll go home and do the grades. Yeah. They're grading at home. They're doing the really true codependency move, right?
Yes.
And it's all based on fear when you really look at the roots, because you're fearful you're going to lose your job. You're fearful that people aren't going to like you. You're fearful of abandonment. It comes down to all of that lovely, crappy fear. Yep. The story we tell ourselves.
Yeah. And another way that this belief can come of not feeling enough is the trauma bonding and the low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And low self-worth.
And where is trauma bonding? Trauma bonding, if you don't know what that is that you're with somebody that kind of breadcrumbs you. They give you this greatness. You see, you see, wow, they're so kind. They're so wonderful. And then they completely will emotionally, verbally, or physically abuse you, or all the above. And then they immediately come in because they can see that you have this guard up, like, okay, I'm done, I'm leaving, or whatever. And they bring in that niceness again. Yeah. And they're like, and this so-called, I love you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just not like this. I don't know what my problem was. It's ridiculousness. It's just programming your brain, but it becomes a cycle. And before you know it, your brain has become trauma bonded and your soul has too, because the spiritual energy you share with another that's like that has made you believe that you deserve somewhere along the line. And I swear if I would have known this a long time ago, if I would have known that the way that I was letting men treat me, and I take full responsibility for that, was the way that I was actually programmed and had growing up different things, but also it just felt like home, but my own critical mind, because of having a critical parent, really criticism came in. And so the critical mind, when it came in, it was just like, oh, it must be true.
Yeah. It's that
And
familiarity.
yeah, it's familiarity. And you just realize, okay, you know what? I'm the person that's got to take responsibility and break up with this story because it's not true. It's a bunch of bull crap. So every time
And
it
I've
comes in, you're
even
like, I
seen
renounce it.
too that like even if you do stop it and that relationship, that trauma bonding can even go into your next
Oh, for
relationship
sure. You got to
with
heal.
even you reflecting that and projecting that out, needing more reassurance out of them, or also you may be going back into a similar relationship that
Yeah.
is just as bad.
Yeah. It's a full circle. Ashlyn, I mean, I fully admit this. I will admit it every single day that because I didn't know all that I know now.
Yeah.
And so I give myself grace, and I get everybody, like, you find out, oh, you know, I'm this is a personality type. Oh, you're codependent. You find out these things. And then if you do the work, like, you're free, you're free, you're free. But not knowing this information, I had gone from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship. And this must be normal with men. This must be how it is. This must be how men show love. You know, they're very dominant. They're very manipulative.
And that goes even from childhood,
controlling.
you know, where you're taught, oh, he hit you. Oh, that means he likes you.
Right. And the movies we watch, the programming from freaking Disney and Hallmark, even, the guy is usually totally a jerk, or the woman's a jerk. And so there's even men out there that have had to deal with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's breaking up with all those ridiculous stories. And you have to be the boss babe, saying, hey, you know what, I renounce that. I do not believe that. That's a bunch of bull crap. And then your brain's like, wow. The more you're consistent with that, it just, you step out of it after a minute and you're like, wow, I can't believe I ever believed in any of that.
Yeah, like for me, I think a lot of my childhood things stemmed from wanting to be like that people pleaser and that helper and wanting people to like me. So I ended up doing that in my relationships as I got older, of like, what do you need from me? What can I give you? Always being that giver.
Yeah.
Which is great.
To
But
keep
if no
them
one else is giving
around.
back to you, you're not getting that reciprocated back. And I wanted them to like me so bad that I would just do anything and everything. And then whenever I sat back and looked at it, even just now, I'm like, or like in those previous situations, it's like, wow, I really put up with so much that was giving nothing to me.
Right.
And that goes for friendships, relationships, jobs, where I put everything in it. I was like the star worker, getting great,
Perfectionism.
yeah,
Woohoo!
doing
I got the
everything.
award.
Where if someone didn't like me, I thought it was something of myself. And then little did I know, a lot of times it was just because I was striving for so much, and it was like that, you need to pull back on your reins, like other people would, want me to do. And I'm like,
Say, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the overachiever. And then we get like the hyper, okay, so you've Ashlyn's accomplished this in school. Then you have the schoolmates, you have the coworkers that are totally like, oh, she's this. And so you've accomplished something, but what are you surrounded by? A whole bunch of people that are jealous of you.
Yeah.
So just kind of learning that balance of, yes, I can be a bright light.
And it all really comes down to is if you love yourself and like yourself.
Then it doesn't matter what other people think. You can bright light, and in the end, you respect yourself. So
yeah,
we're going to move on to the subtle signs that you're settling. How do we know what we're settling? And so many people have talked to us, and on our own, Ashlyn and I have a discussion, like, how did we settle? Like, what was it? What were some of the big factors of why we settle in relationships?
Yeah. And you may also want to write these down. And if you are in your relationship, job, friendship, work, whatever, that you feel like you may be settling in, write down these questions and answer them. and
Yeah.
be 100% truthful with yourself. So key behaviors to unpack are you making excuses for someone's behavior, whether it's your boss, your man-woman relationship, romantic relationship, man-man, or your friends? Are you constantly like, oh, they had a rough childhood, or they're just busy, waiting for them to change? Are you
Mm-hmm.
waiting for them to change? I'm going to repeat that too, because that is something that you should not be hopping into a relationship waiting for them to magically, with a snap of a fingers, change. Of course, we all evolve and grow, and there is room for growth. And I've seen it in my own relationships where I went into a relationship with my husband where we definitely had to figure each other out. I mean, there was his quirks and my quirks. It's not like we went into it just perfect human beings, perfect. Yeah, none of us are perfect. We did have to work on things, but it wasn't like me constantly asking him to change or waiting for that change. Wishing you could step into the future to see where y'all are at, or also where they're at in life. That word is called
Biggest
future
mistake.
tripping.
Yeah.
So are you future tripping? Are
Future
you
tripping.
waiting?
Yeah.
That anxious feeling of like, oh my gosh.
Like, oh, I see his potential. I see his potential. No, don't do this. See his potential. If you're in a place right now that he brings you peace, literally, you should be no matter what, bringing each. Are you looking for something made with love for love?
In our Etsy shop, we create custom designs that are more than just products. They're meaningful reminders of the love within you and all around you.
From personalized home decor and heartfelt stickers to inspirational shirts, each item is crafted with care and intention to bring joy, comfort, and positivity into your life.
We believe in celebrating love in all its forms, from self-love to spreading kindness to others. Our creations are here to uplift, inspire, and remind you of your own strength and beauty.
Everything we make tells a story, your story. Whether you're treating yourself or gifting something special to a loved one, we pour our hearts into every design.
If you're looking for something unique, personal, and full of love, head over to our Etsy shop. Every piece is crafted with care to help you connect more deeply with yourself and the world around you.
Because when you surround yourself with love, inside and out, life just feels a little brighter.
Check out the link in the description and find something that speaks to your heart. We can't wait to create something special just for you.
Other peace.
Yes.
And joy and laughter and just loving, just peaceful feeling. You can work on that and evolve and grow together deep on a great foundation there. But if you're thinking, well, this needs to change, she's got to have this done in order for us to be together, the future tripping, and then being like the mother role or the father role of like,
I'm going to say that I see this a lot in really successful women.
Yes.
Very successful women do this.
Yeah.
And I
got to heal. I'm going to help him heal. I'm going to fix him. And the thing is that we've just really stepped into this right now in this moment. All the movies you've watched, all the TV programs, the scenarios, reality TV, whatever it is that you've seen, you see that if a man really loves a woman, he's going to change, or you are able to fix and heal him. No. The only person that can fix or heal you is yourself. You've got to go in, and for me, it's a God presence. It's a prayer thing. It's a foundation of trusting the Lord. And that's where my answers and intuition is going to come from. And it's not going to be from a man. I can't put that kind of pressure on a man to be the one that's going to so-called heal me or protect or provide for me to have peace in my life. I've got to create my own peace, and the right person in your life or Ashlyn's life is going to be that peace place too. It's just natural, y'all. It's natural. If a person's not striving to do their own peace,
it's not supposed to be hard. Like you said, with peace, yes, relationships do have those moments where you need to work things out, but it's not a constant struggle. It's supposed to have those moments of just pure, not moments, but every time just pure peace. And yes, you figure things out and you work things out, but you're not and that constant struggle. That person is supposed to be, especially in relationships, not, this is kind of excluding work, but it's supposed to be that best friend for you, where
Yeah.
you can go to and feel safe to communicate with and be
Yeah.
open to.
And not have them try to put it back on you, or
Gaslighting.
yeah, or say that your feelings aren't valid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm, taking it offensive. What I've really recognized is if there's not peace, there's not a peaceful feeling, or there's confusion, you have got to step back, not gaslight yourself and blame yourself on this. You've got
Mm-hmm.
to step back and for me personally, it would be praying and saying, show me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this is consistent, and I will state this too, please hear this. If you're in a relationship and you have chaos or inconsistency with not having peace it's
Mm-hmm.
consistently, you cannot go more than 14 days. Now listen to me. Listen to this.
She knows her facts.
If you cannot go more than 14 days, you've got a person that has some sort of probably disorder, like bipolar, narcissistic, different things. And you've got to make a decision. Am I willing to stay in this, to have my peace robbed? Like, no matter what, I'm going to be trauma bonded with my brain.
Mm-hmm.
My health is going to go down the hill. My desirability, my self-esteem is going to also go down the hill. Most likely I'm not going to be able to sleep well. I'm going to stink at my job. Like, it's going to become like this.
Yeah, it goes with your mental and your physical, for sure.
Mental, emotional, and physical, spiritual, all four are going to be affected. I've lived and breathed it, but for some people, then they're like, oh, then they gaslight themselves, and they just know the guy or the woman knows this subconscious game for you. They're not probably completely purposely trying to completely take you out, unless they have a sociopathic personality, but it's part of their programming, and you deserve
You don't
better.
gotta deal with it. Yes, amen. And I like that so much, because it's like you're trying to fix or heal others instead of just accepting who they are.
Yeah, just
And
accept them.
conversations are, if they're not leading anywhere, and it's like you said, those 5 steps forward, and then it's like 3 steps back, and you're just starting to ignore your intuition, that gut feeling, that unease, that anxiety when you're around them, then that's your answer. You know that it's not right. And praying to get answers and feeling like they're not being heard, you shouldn't have to
That's
keep
your
constantly
answer.
praying for
Right.
answers if it's theirs.
That's your answer. The stupor of thought, confusion is your answer that
You're
you are
gaslighting
not with the
yourself.
right person. Get out.
You
And
need to
don't be
listen to that
fearful.
iffy feeling. If it's not 100%, it's not it. And I'm gonna write that down. If it's not 100%, then it's not it. Repeat that in your head. Studies show that the gut feelings are accurate about 80%. And us that are really in tune with our intuition, my mom and I talked about this with each other, it's 100%.
Right.
Of the time when assessing rational compatibility, but most people second guess them due to just the societal pressures. So relationships should not always be in question.
Right. And so what, are you not willing to like abandon this relationship out of fear of the unknown? Like, ask yourself, so many people I've worked with, I'm like, listen, if you knew for a fact that it's going to even be better than you could have ever expected by leaving, and this person that's going to come into your life, it's going to be so amazing because you've allowed yourself to step out of self-respect for yourself of what you deserve, would you leave today? And everyone has said yes. It's just the dang fear of the unknown and having to walk that. And one of the things I like is confusing loyalty with self-abandonment. You're abandoning what you truly find as a high value and integrity. And one of the highest values for human race is freedom and peace.
Yes.
It's freedom and peace. And so if you're constantly not having that peace,
safety,
and that feeling of freedom to be able to speak your mind and to have discussions with this individual and show this deep love and admiration without having things come back on you or, gaslit type thing, then, oh my goodness, when you get in a relationship like Ashlyn and Jerome have, and so many people that I've worked with have, they're like, oh my goodness, Janae, if I would have known. And, and I'm kind of walking in that a little bit, just knowing that there are good men out there good women out there, obviously, that just hear you. You know,
Mhm.
you felt heard. You have
Safe
this
is such a key thing
peace.
for me and protected.
Yes. And so it comes down to, like Ashlyn and I have said, like this whole self-love jumpstart that we've talked about, the 21-day jumpstart.
Mhm.
You do that and you start to realize, I can't allow somebody else to treat me this way.
Yeah.
Like maybe doesn't talk to me for 4 days, or
Mhm.
they put everything back on you. You're the crazy one, or this or that,
Projecting. Mhm.
projection, gaslighting. When you have that foundation of self-love and the connection with the divine of all, then you really start to think,
I
wow,
think
what
one
was I
thing
doing?
too with coaching that we have done, a lot of people, and I would even say this for myself 10 years ago, especially, even 5 years ago, even, where if someone asked me, Ashlyn, do you have self love? My answer would have been like, yes, of course I love myself. But is it a reflection of what you're in right now?
Right.
Look at
Oh,
your relationships. Look at who you are around.
who are you surrounded by?
And
And it tells
if
a lot
you
about
are
where you
putting
see
up
yourself.
with, I'm not saying lower people because I think we're all on the same plane, but people that are not meeting you at what you need, whether that is that you want to be a stay at home mom and you are with somebody that is not going to be able to provide that, and you know that they will never provide that, and you are putting your wants and needs to the side, whether that is financially, emotionally, physically, you are putting your needs to the side. That is a key thing, that is not meant for you. And yes, there's a lot of things that Jerome and I have talked about in our relationship where at first he was like, oh, you want those things, okay, well, let me think about this real quick. Let me see how I can adjust to your wants and needs. And we were able to work things out that way. But do not be with somebody that you are going to be resentful with at the end of the day. That is one thing I've seen time and time again. They're waiting for this change. They're waiting for this change. And nothing is happening. And they're like, I'm so
Right.
resentful. And I'm like, that's because you put your self love needs to the side. You put what you really want in life to the side and chose that person that is not meeting you where you need to be met. And then what are you doing? You're being pulled down by that crab where you
Oh,
could be up
perfectly
here, but
said.
that person in your life is like yanking you down, like you're like
Perfect.
this little string. And it's like, I want to be here. I want to be here. No, honey, you're not going to be there. We're going to be down here together. And I've been
So
in
well
friendships like
said.
that,
Mm-hmm.
relationships like that,
Relationships.
where I have wanted to do things and be things. And it's like, they are even, I would say with money, but even just in that belief system that I wanted them to have for me, they're like, you're crazy for doing that. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to meet those needs. You're going to have to do something else to be there. And I'm just
Mm,
like, oh my
mu-
goodness, the compromise.
there should be mutual respect, right? That you want to
Yes.
see each other evolve in the best way. You want to not be the two crabs, the crab that's pulling the other crab down because they don't want the person to get out. You want that
Mhm.
person in your life that's like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Or they
Yes.
see something where you could like completely grow in, and they're like, babe, this is
Yeah.
amazing. I see this in you.
And I
And they're
get
just
so excited to
encouraging.
tell Jerome things because I know, like, I'll tell Jerome, oh my gosh, like I just got published for my research, or I got
Right.
an A+ whenever I was in school, or even just like little things. Oh my goodness, I kept the kids alive today. Just the little wins, and he's
Yeah.
like, that is so amazing. I'm so proud of you. And that's just something that I craved from in my childhood that I get so much from Jerome, and I'm so grateful for because
Yeah. He
it's like
sees you. He sees
he
you and you
appreciated
see
it and
him.
recognized, and he
Yeah.
sees me for like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get teary-eyed about it. Like for the full person I am. And it's like, I don't want to change him.
That's
He doesn't want
love.
to change me.
Hmm.
And it's like, we want to change for each other though, if that makes
Well,
sense.
you want to be the
Grow.
best version of yourself for
Yes.
that person.
Yeah.
And that's intuitively, I mean, and that's instinctually yourself and your
Yes.
love. That's why we say, like, you're not going to change the other individual. It has to be rooted within the soul to
Hmm.
want to evolve. And you may be with someone that, like, does not see your path and does not want to be, doesn't even believe in your path.
Yeah.
Good holy moly, don't waste your time. Get out
And
and
I
be
mean,
with the
if
person.
what are you scared for? It's the
Right.
comfortability and you being scared of being
And
alone.
the stories you're telling yourself, recognize the 5 main stories you're telling yourself of why you're not getting out. Write them
Mhm.
down and write the opposite.
Yep.
That's what word of advice I would write. Like, write it down. Okay, this is what I'm afraid if I leave them, they've already gotten to know my kids, or you know, I know he's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're really
We've been
good
together for 10 years.
Yeah, we've been together. I don't want to mess with the kids, or our chemistry is really good, but everything else is off, or whatever that is. Write it down, and then write the opposite, because I'm a living, walking version of the fact that I did the cycle for so long, the hamster wheel. But now, with doing all the work and being out of it, I'm telling you, I'm like 100% how amazing it can be with a man that really truly gets you. He believes in you. He sees you. He wants to be there for you, protect you, you know, everything that a man is meant, a godly, good man. Like, just, oh my goodness, we all deserve it.
And for me, on my previous relationships, it stemmed from being scared of not only being alone, but just the fear of the unknown, jumping out of it. It's like, I'm so comfortable with this person. I know what to expect out of this person, and hopping into something else and being alone, it's scary. And that's why we're here, is to help you jump out and be with us in that fear of the unknown, to have that support, to have that mother that grabs you and just wraps you in that warm blanket and says, do not go back to him. Don't get
right. You're going to be okay. Taking your car keys. You're not driving to his place.
There was moments where she was like, you need to block him. You need to not keep in communication with him. Ashlyn, you are going, I know this feels like a death sentence right now. There was moments where I walked out and I had my shoulders back and I was like, I've got this. I feel strong. And then probably about a month or so, I remember calling you on the phone in my previous relationship. And I was like, Mom, I think I messed up. I want to go back. You know, I don't know if I did the right thing. And she was like, boom, 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 boom. You remember this? You remember that? Ashlyn, you love yourself so much. Do not, you know, be strong. And there was like that moment where it was that self-love I had to find myself. That's why we created a lot of this podcast, is from that moment in my life, along with certain other moments in my life where I still remember where I was at. I was in the swimming pool and I was just like, I feel like I made everything wrong. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm going to go. I feel so lost. And I just remember you just telling me it's time will heal it, but also like you're going to learn oh gosh, if I could just go back and tell that girl from like 8 years ago, like, you are going to learn so much about yourself going through that pain and that hurt.
Right.
And you're going to go on to the other side and be like, holy crap, I am so powerfully strong. And I'm so glad I'm out of that, because now I didn't even just find a love within myself that's deeper, but maybe even with somebody else that just treats you so amazing. But you learn like this respect that you have for yourself, that you are never going to go back once that is cut off. Those cords are tied, you know, done.
Part of the pain is that you've self-abandoned yourself. So the pain is 10 times more difficult when you've been trauma bonded and different things like that, because you, somewhere along the way, you abandoned yourself. We abandoned ourselves. And so we've got to find ourselves again, and we've got to be the ones that show up. But that's where that deep pain that Ashlyn talked about, that we've experienced. I'm like, man, this is like 6 months. And then you get nervous to get in another relationship and you don't trust yourself and all that kind of stuff. And that's a different thing we can talk about at some point. But just know that you're not alone. You don't walk through things. Ashlyn, I love you. We're here.
Yes.
And hopefully the good examples of like walking the walk of like not staying in these relationships, and the beautifulness on the other side is just
just remember not to cling to that potential. You know, you're dating if you're dating someone inconsistent, but you justify them just saying the right thing sometimes, you know, pretty words don't always get fulfilled. It's like all talk, no action. Really see if they're following through, even with the smallest things. Jerome, I respected him right off the bat for Men for Relationship Tips. Here you go. He told me the one thing a man has is his word. And he still, to this day, 7 years, you know, we're 7 years in June. To this day, he is a man of his word. He has fulfilled every little thing, whether it was small or big, whether it was like, hey, I'm bringing home dinner tonight, don't cook. He came home with dinner. Or it was big things of loyalty and respect. And
through is huge.
everything. Anything that I have ever said, hey, this, and this, and he would say, yes, I hear you. I will make sure that I do this. And I did the same thing. It goes both ways,
Beautifully
not
said,
just him,
Ashlyn. Yeah,
but
beautifully
he
said.
would follow through on those things.
Mm-hmm.
And he would listen to me and say, you know what, like, okay, I hear you. I see that this might trigger you in this way, and I'm not going to do it again. Never
And
did it
he
again.
didn't do
Not
it
one
again.
time.
I
He never
know.
did it again.
And then there's
And I did the
that
same thing on my
trust
side
and that
too. There was
relationship.
times.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we both had sides where we're like, okay, I can see that I shouldn't have done this. I need to apologize. And I
Yep.
really want to walk in the light of like not having him have to experience that with me again. Like
Yes.
I see how that
Self-reflect.
hurt. And the follow through is key too. I'm so glad you brought that up, because a man or a woman can say 5,000 words and paint the most beautiful picture of the future.
Mm-hmm.
But do they follow through? And even if they want to paint the picture of 6 months in advance, like, what are you doing now though? Like this week, what are you doing to take action for that 6 month video?
And I've
this
even noticed
future
that too,
outcast.
especially with how they are in their job. Do they follow
Yes.
through with their friends? Do they follow through with their job? Do they, people around them,
Oh,
are they good to those people? Then they'll be good to you. Jerome was always very consistent with jobs and wanting to work hard. And I saw that and I was like,
that
wow,
is
like,
such a big thing too. How are they at their jobs? Do they fall through? And are they honest? Do you hear them say, I took a 2-hour lunch, but I just told them that I was actually doing this. Like, what
calling
are
off
they,
a lot.
what are they, like, are they honest with you're going to see a lot of light.
Mhm.
And I love something that Ashlyn and I talked about this morning was that, and she brought it up with the friendship circle that we have, who you're deciding to be around. But if, let's say that you've been friends with a guy for a long time and then you find out that he's abused his girlfriend or he's cheated on his girlfriend. Ashlyn has a story of that, but I said, that's so powerful, because you know what? You're not going to be my friends. Like, I'm not going to hate. I'm not going to throw shade. I'm not going to judge you. Like, we're done. But like, I don't want to be around someone, because if you're going to have an affair on your wife or whatever is going down, bottom line
I
is
listened
you're going
to
to
a
cheat on me
podcast about that, where
as a
this man
friend.
was saying that in high school, he had a friend that cheated on his girlfriend of a long time. And basically he was just saying that, at that point he told his friend that, like, if you don't have honor and loyalty and just that overall decent sense to, like, he told that girlfriend that he loved her and everything. And he's like, if you can straight up tell her that you loved her and cheat on her, then I don't even want to know behind what, I can't be your friend anymore. And if we held people more accountable in that manner, like, people would actually be more
What would it
honorable.
be like? More honorable integrity, like they're having to really truly answer for that. I love that you told me that, because it's the truth. If they're going to cheat on the one that's the most intimate relationship in their life is their wife or their husband or girlfriend that they're saying, I love you too. What are they ever going to, like, are they really going to be that friend for you?
And I also, Jerome and I sit back and we talk about too, that, like, would we want our daughter around those specific people? And if your answer is no right away, maybe you need to think about even your sons. With my boys, I think about my circle. Would I be okay with them even futurely, like, say for instance they were my age and they could date a woman like that? Would I be okay with them being in relationships with my friends? Or, like, even Jerome and I talk about with certain those things and those friendships. Would you be okay with your daughter being around the men that you're hanging around for, men?
You're inviting these men into your house, and you know how they've been with this or that. I wouldn't want them around my teenage daughter. Like, no.
Exactly.
And I did that, didn't I?
You've seen, I think if we held people more accountable for their actions, more people would be able to, we would have a higher standard in relationships.
And you think of the conversations, a lot of times the things you say and the examples you do, you're sitting around the kitchen table with your family, you have teenagers, even let's say 10-year-olds, but you're talking about, oh, my best friend, and you and your wife are thinking you're having this conversation, but he does this with his
They're
wife.
listening.
And they're listening, and they're probably translating it as it's okay. So is it? It's not. So choose your friends wisely, choose who you're mating with, you're energetically sharing that love bond with. And it's okay to walk away. Don't be scared to walk away, y'all. I'm living proof, so is Ashlyn. Like, I am so much better off, and I had to take responsibility.
I'd like to add too that another example is of if you're overextending yourself in friendships or your job that don't reciprocate. So, like we've previously talked, make sure you have that reciprocation.
Perfectly. Yeah. That's
And you
it's
know
so
what,
true.
too? I think that your little like mini prompt to also ask yourself with these many like things of scenarios and questions that we labeled out. This is going to be like our little mic drop right here. And I think this really hit me hard whenever I, listen to this question. It's like, where are you making yourself small? Like I said, dimming your light, but just to keep someone else comfortable. And I think that really hits me so hard, even just with like myself of like wanting people, previously to really like me and overextending myself. It's like, why are you so worried about making other people comfortable that you are losing yourself in that? And do you have anything to add before we wrap
I
it up?
do, because I think one of the biggest like realizations was for me is I was choosing everybody else's peace over my own.
Mm-hmm.
I was so scared to speak my truth, in fear that I was going to get reprimanded, abandoned, fight was going to break out with somebody that can put it back on me and gaslight. That I was like, okay, I didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And so often my voice got closed because I were not speaking my truth. And so I just say, one way you can really break free from this is just to say, you know what, my truth matters. Nobody else's, like my peace matters and my truth matters. And I'm going to start speaking my truth and proving to your mind that those that do fall away, good riddance. It's okay. You're being protected, because if they're going to fall away from you speaking your truth and doing it from your heart, then they don't need to be in your life anyway. And there's plenty of people that will come and feel that in the most beautiful way. That's been my experience. It's been Ashlyn's experience. The more you speak truth to you, respect yourself and the deservability, like we started with, you really start to recognize you do deserve the best. You are a wonderful, wonderful person. Yeah.
I think that especially after you go through so many situations that me and you have gone through in those relationships and jobs and friendships, it's like you sit back and you're like, why did I ever think that I did deserve less? Like, the self-abandonment that you talked about, you do deserve the very best. And whether that you have that doubt from, your childhood or society influences or the trauma bonding or just that low self-confidence, just remind yourself at the end of the day, you do deserve the best. And what really matters is how you truly feel. And obviously, like we need to care and love others around us, but I think as a mom, I've really realized that if my cup is not full, then I'm not going to be able to pour into my kids, my husband, my friends, my job. So fill your cup up first and make sure you have that like love for yourself, and you'll be able to go further in all your relationships and know that you deserve the best.
And it's just one day at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Just one day at a time, but take action. There's so many of us that just keep on telling stories. We tell stories. We tell a victim story. We tell a story of woulda, coulda, shoulda. We tell a story that I should, and we don't take action. And it just becomes asinine, like by the 6th week, the 10th week. And then yet we're expecting these other people in our life to change, but we're not doing even what we're talking to them about, as far as like, hey, take action. Are we taking action for ourselves to stand up for ourselves?
You can preach all day, but are you are you accepting your own sermon?
Amen.
And right, amen.
Amen,
And I also
sister.
like to just mic drop real quick, talking about being that percentage. A 2022 study showed that 6 out of 10 people admitted to staying in relationships where they know that their needs were not being met out of fear of abandonment or fear of being alone. So don't be 6 out of 10 of those people. Take yourself off that list. And the next episode that we do, so stay tuned, is going to be all about how to reclaim what you truly deserve. So we will catch you guys in the next episode for part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Peace out. We love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching and sharing this space of love and transformation with us. If this video resonated with you, please like it. And if you know somebody who might benefit from this message, be sure to share it with them, because love and growth are meant to be spread. For more ways to deepen your journey, check out the details in the caption below. You'll find links to our Etsy shop, journals, and our 21-day Jumpstart course. Until next time, keep shining.